Yes. To the topic here, I think to what since I came a bit late to get the main arguments of Sawadak, but through the discussion here, just to because in Buddhist religions, I think especially in the country that like Thailand, that we claim that we are Buddhist, many of us, most of us, and as many have mentioned that to be benefit of a kind of Buddhist may not be very simple. That's why some research have been interested and have been promoted here. Since yesterday, that I think I listened to professor who shared some view on the inner happiness. I think if we ask for the objective or the problem that we face in terms of the why Buddhist sustainability, sustainable development is needed, I may put what I think in terms of the Buddhist persons, one person here. If you recall the Lord Buddha's great praise, what we think that the thing that he put a very simple keywords for human beings is the dukkha. It means we all have tuk. Tuk is suffering. May we accept it or not? That's maybe the first thing that I will proceed with what I think in terms of the problem that Savalak addressed. One point that I think important is Buddhist is the Lord Buddha or the Buddhist persons. We interest in that because of the Lord Buddha's. To us, we believe and we have faith that he conquered the suffering that all the human beings we face, and he explained with the Riya Satchi. I think it's very rational, very scientific to what I feel. He said, suffering is the first, and the cause of that sufferings. And what is the end or the need, the end of that nirod, and then the ways, I think it's quite complete. And to the Dr. Abhichai and Savarak dialogue said what? We are very humble to attain objective of Savarak work, if the Western thinking in terms of the Buddhist and the way of the Western economics and the Buddhist interpretations can be done. That's a very humble, acceptable in what I think and what I heard. But anyway, to the Four Noble Truth there, I think we can interrelate to the issue here of the economics, the capitalist or the mainstream economics that we are argue or we think that how to explain to like production, consumption, distribution, or whatever that. But I think just to think through this, I think the suffering, the first point of Ariya Sat, when we born, I think we have to accept that it's a starting of the way, the explanation, that's the suffering, how that thing can be better or be optimized or being heard, And getting old, that's all part of the explanation of the problem of the suffering that. And get sick is part of that, and to die. I think that's the whole cycle of that. And then the pain or the thing that human being face of those suffering of the four things, from birth to die, is the understanding of that. We can minimize the suffering that. This might understand what the interpretation there when we talk of samudaya in terms of because of we don't know because we don't have good educate enough. What is good educate? Some people may say they don't go to school, but it does not mean that not go to school or even go to school. Avijja is a cause of that. So I think in Buddhist, I think samudaya is a way to understand what of that. Okay, and then what is happiness? Of what is the end? Come to the third point. This is also another problem that we're talking of the happiness. Yesterday I think it's quite clear when we said future happiness or now happiness. Seems to me that the main economic theory, capital accumulation, seems to be the future happiness, right? Future, we have to accumulate, like we retire, we will be happy, right? We have to work hard, get job or whatever there. But seems to be what we discussed in terms of the Buddhist, in terms of inner happiness, seems to be happiness can be from when we born until we die. We can be happy in that. It means that it's a process then to what. This is part of the Nirodha in the different sense, okay, in the sense. And then I think it's quite practical when we're talking of the mark or the way that, I think it's just, I simply understand with this interpretation of what is a way. I think the way is only very simple of the three key words here. Kaya, vaca, jaya. It means the way of the, we handle our physical things, the way we handle of what we speak, and the way we handle of what our mind, those mark me all bad is the right education of that three things. And in terms of education, in what the Buddhists say, I think Traisikha is quite control all of that. Traisikha means the three principles of educations, Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. So I think the Buddhist is very comprehensive, very simple. Like Dr. Vichai said, it's not simple unless we are really Buddhist in terms of, it's a process of that kind of things. Okay, this was my comment. Second comment, I just looked to the book of Dr. Tubivat, and I think that the point that I'm thinking, I want to share some point to one other thing that in July, this very very campaigns my point here. I want to give one comment to Savala on the role of Buddhism, or the issue of happiness, or what is the goal of economic development based on that. I think the case studies might be one of the things that we learn in Thailand. In macro case, I thinkเศรษฐกิจพอเพียง is one of the things that we see the process of accepting and realizing is quite a long process. It's quite interesting. I think yesterday I listened to a professor from Japan, Kyoto case studies. I think it's an effort of a country, of course. Japan is on the Buddhist, and this Buddhist is quite famous in terms of what we learn, Zen Buddhism or many schools of Buddhism there. But I think the case that utilizing the concept of education, learning, including Western learning, Eastern learning, whatever that, into what practice in livelihood. I think the case of Kyoto, quite interesting. It's a process, but it is quite advanced. I think that is a thing that I think learning and cooperating, the learning of the way, I think the Buddhism is universal in the sense of, because we are thinking of the happiness of human being, not just very simple is a Buddhist or is a human being as using with the ethical things there. That's one or two cases. Another one I think is when we're talking of the interface. I think in Thailand we come to a point where we may claim a little bit of this place is a place where different religions maybe can find a place to find the common goal, if we call it Dhamma or the nature thing, the Dhamma. Dhamma is not because of Buddhist or Christian or Muslim or whatever there. What is the common goal there? I think in this place have come up with the kind of interfaith agreements on that. We have in Thailand, we have five faiths here. We accepted 5 faiths in our constitutions, Buddhist, Christianity, Muslim, Islam, Sikh, Hindu. I think last year we have some the thinker have come, and I think there is a process through maybe the Korean guide have go. UPF, Universal Peace Foundations, is the initiators of that kind of thing, and I attend that and I follow that kind of process. I think it's a good effort that try to come up with the different belief and share with the very high skill people. And I found it's a very common thing of human being that we need some moral or some judgments or some Abhishai used ethical intelligence. I found that I want to claim that Thailand is a place where those things is possible. So I think this is maybe part of my comment to Savalak. Maybe it's not very straight, but anyway, the first one might be one of the comments that I mentioned of a real set, but this is might be extra to that, and this is a thing that I want to bring up for the July to be what meeting to that. But anyway, I will talk with you more on that. Thank you.
listened to Dr. Sawalat about the presentation. In the latter part, it seemed to me that you say something about practical, about to get into the inner happiness, we have to practice. And But my point of view is emerging from the way of Toyota. Have you heard about the Toyota way? It's like a way of life in the big corporation like Toyota. Thank you the Japanese that give this idea to me. Toyota is, they call their philosophy of continuous improvement. And it seems to me that I can compare with sustainable development, Buddhist sustainable development. It seems to me that it's very close or similar to each other. The thing is, the way that you want the inner happiness, the Toyota way, they found that not only the chairman of the corporation, not only the middle management, not only the frontline manager, everyone has to have inner happiness. But what the inner happiness comes from? They say that it's like the inner of the oyster, or the Mikimoto oyster, The pearl. The pearl emerges from the small sand that make them feel, and then they emerge a beautiful Mikimoto. And the Mikimoto have many different kind of quality. White one, pink one. It depends on the quality that emerge from inner. So this is a kind of that I try to explain that the inner happiness through sustainable development is maybe similar to the continuous improvement. And just a second, just 10 minutes ago, I talked to Dr. Abhishai about stick lists. And I happened to learn from his book about the sustainable development. So it's such a kind of Buddhist sustainable development. So I myself, even if I'm a Buddhist, and my background at the office is the organization development, I'm looking forward for the change that never happened to be Christian or Buddhist or Islamic. It can be a universal change for anyone that emerge from the inner, and then your mindset, your inner mindset change, then things gonna happen in a better way. That's my idea.
Dr. Pawan, would you like to make some comment?
Maybe in 5 minutes.
We can join lunch while we are talking.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, I will speak with high speed internet. I have heard it's probably the concept of the happiness that I had already finished and done with my dissertation is quite a little bit different from the happiness concept here. Because what I had done is concerning a lot more in mental happiness, and is quite related to wisdom that Abhishai or Professor has discussed earlier. The happiness concept that I did is related to wisdom that means insight, knowledge. But wisdom that I have heard that we are just discussed is probably mean wisdom that in Buddhism we are called the Sutta Maya Panya, wisdom that from education, right? you read, you study, that is kind of wisdom like that. But in Buddhism, if we would like to understand correctly about what happiness is, it needs insight, wisdom. That means wisdom to see things as it really is, or you can see the Four Noble Truths. That is the wisdom that the Buddha means. So, if you want to see the thing as it really is, it means that you can see suffering. If you see suffering, it means that you see the true nature of happiness. So, if individual can practice until you can see the true nature of happiness, that means you obtain the wisdom that the Buddha means. So, it means that you already achieve the level of insight wisdom. So it means that you already understand what happiness is. This kind of happiness means you see that happiness is impermanence or transience. That is the true nature of it. And when you see that, it means that the karma sukh or happiness that economists mean, or that we try to possess, is impossible in the Buddhist sense. So the way to try to maximize the greatest happiness is impossible in the Buddhist sense. If the Buddha cannot achieve the raw Uttara Panya or the super mundane wisdom, we cannot see that why we cannot understand the true nature, and so all of us cannot try to leave the karma sukh or material happiness and try to find the better or the higher quality of happiness. And why we cannot, or why we still try to possess a lot of material things, that is because happiness that the Buddha try to tell us is concealed. We cannot see the true happiness, the true nature of happiness. So this is why we still attach to the sensual happiness and cannot get to the better level of happiness. This is because it conceals. And I want to say that happiness is a lasting place of dukkha. It's not the thing that mixed with dukkha. Okay, happiness and dukkha cannot happen together, cannot mix together. But happiness is a lasting place of dukkha. So, if we can go to the Bhavana Maya Panya, that is, we can see the true nature of happiness, and that is, we can maybe reject or understand the true nature of karma sukh or sensual happiness. In the Buddha sense or in the Buddhist sense, sensual happiness is not bad or the problem of human being, but the problem is that we attachment to wealth or to money or to material things. Those things are not the problem, or not the Satan or something that we have to reject, like in Marxism try to criticize capitalism. But the true problem is that our attachment or desire that the Buddha said in the second element of the Four Noble Truths. That is the thing that make everything the problem, and it happens right now, like an environmental problem or such problem. Okay, I think I should stop.
Eating.
Okay.
Eating, please.
Thank you very much.
For the sensual happiness, it seems to me that like a dolphin show, or at the SeaWorld. If you thinking about the SeaWorld and dolphin show, when the dolphin do something good, they feed with the small fish, right? But it's not that, it's only the lower level. But while we, the human being, we need the upper level, and it means bhavana, right?
I think Buddhist concept accept sensual pleasure if it's supervised by wisdom. You know what to use to, you can have material, but you know what to make it useful and to others. I think it's not possible to reject, but if it's supervised by wisdom, it can be useful for others in society.
At the same time, may call back to the step of continuous improvement. It seems to me that the level of continuous improvement, or in terms of the Japanese one called Kaizen, Kaizen, K-I-Z-E-N. This level is mean that it's like a development of your mindfulness, development in meditation. That step by step that you develop yourself and you know yourself. And the Kaizen itself, the piti happens to those frontline workers. When they improve something, they cut off lower material, they cut off the time consumed in the line of production. And then they get reward from the manager. It's like a social response at each level or each step of working. For the mindfulness meditation, sometimes I think the one who is in practice will have some pity at the moment they practice. And it's in terms of Bali, or you call what sati, that you mindfulness, and like you give reward to yourself and inner reward by yourself, that you feel happiness inside yourself, something like that.
Okay, I made a last one. I think so. This topic, according to my idea, is very deep and very difficult. And especially, I agree with many professors, especially Dr. Apichai. Without practicing, very difficult to explain clearly. The one thing I think, Trisikha, 3-4 path development, 3-4 path training. We have to talk on on this because this is the system of development according to the Buddha teaching. Traisikha is the precept of Seen, Samadhi, Panya, precept meditation and wisdom, precept of mind and wisdom. So, without practicing, it's very difficult to reach the state of this ethic. But I hope that the works of Dr. Saulak on this matter, it will be open some difficult thing to clearly. I hope so. And then we hope to see the final report from Dr. Saulak soon. Okay, thank you very much for this time. Please.